There's your local librarian ripping it up. And there's our lovely friend Steve. So on that trip, Steve broke a pole, a ski, and a binder. And that was kind of classic for Steve. He usually breaks something on that trip. Anyway, and later on that became the Nordic tour that Eric Burr was the guide for many, many years. So the helicopter downhill people would take off, but before they did, the helicopter would take them up behind Goat Peak, and they would spend the day skiing back down from Goat Peak down to Methow. Started out skiing at some beautiful meadows there, and then pretty much down the forest roads. But Tom Perkins was very helpful, and he said two things that really became true. He said, with an organization like that, you're going to be successful, and you're going to end up worrying about two things: parking lots, toilets. So, while this is all going on, I'm up at Sun Mountain trying to run a cross-country program. You can see the incredible grooming that I did. If you guys could come up to that standard, we would really appreciate it. So that's Sunnyside Trail. Skating had not started yet, of course, so everything was classic. These were all done with snowmobiles and a little molder. It was pretty amazing grooming. We could go kind of fast some days, but the product, I mean, that was the best. That was the absolute best grooming that we could ever produce. These are the machines that we used. They're two Skidoo Valmonts that I bought from a farmer in Tonasket because they were cheap, and Jack Barron was cheap. But there was a problem. You see that one machine's pulling the other. And what happened was that I would get up in the morning really early, jump on the snowmobile, go out and group trails, and invariably the snowmobile would blow up. So I'd go back to the lodge, get the other snowmobile, go get that one, pull it up, pull it in a garage, change my clothes, teach a bunch of lessons, rent a bunch of skis. Then that evening I'd go in the garage, rebuild the snowmobile so I can repeat the process all day. Notice the one in the back doesn't have any windshield. I got stuck so many times that one night out on Little Wolf, I fell off the platform again, and any of you groomers that have been on a snowmobile, you know what that's like. Once you're off the platform, you're stuck. Got it back on the platform, 10 feet, stuck, 10 feet stuck. So I decided to take it out on the snowmobile with the snow shovel. So the first year I was here, there was no snow. The second year I was here, there was a ton of snow, and we could groom everywhere. The third year I was here, it snowed just a little bit. And then we said, we should mow the trails before it snows. So I built that so I could mow the trails after it snowed. And it worked. I think Asha wouldn't have liked it too well. And the carabiner on the handle was to hang an extra gas can on. I was out there. And this is Methow Country Inn, where this is Jay Lucas started grooming out there. So at that time, Sun Mountain was operating, and Dick Roberts in Methow was beginning to groom along with Doug Devon. And then in the Rendezvous, there was a guy named Enoch Kraft and his wife Chandra that had a Diamond T Ranch. So there were 3 cross-country ski areas going into Methow Valley. And everybody was cooperating with everyone else, but it seemed like it made more sense to put everybody together and make one big system. And that's exactly what happened. So we formed, first we had the Methow Valley Family Sports Club, which played a lot of soccer and put on some ski races, but then we formed MVSTA, and a guy, a retired lawyer in Wenatchee who lived here at the time named Larry Tobisca, wrote the first bylaws for MVSTA. And we then began to charge for trail use. I can't remember what it was, $2, $3 or whatever. Figuring that we needed to get some money generated so that we can maintain trails. And that idea kind of grew, and then we decided that we could also sponsor some events. And this is our NBSTA team here in Odlo suits. You can recognize everybody. The one you probably don't recognize is Pat Stearns on the right. He lives in Sun Valley now. But he was a heli ski guy here. His as well as a skier. We also thought that we needed to begin to do some promotion work. So we took pictures of the skiers, tried to send them around. I would go to REI and do slideshows. They used to have these sort of Thursday night slideshows. In fact, I would go to ski shops all over the Northwest and do slideshows to promote skiing here. And Sal and I would go to, this is the really rude one, we would go to shopping centers and ski on a plastic track. And a plastic ramp and do telemarks on it. For how people understand the skiing. I don't think we got any customers. These guys are weird. Except one place that really bought into it was Mountain Gear in Spokane. And after that picture was around, you saw that? So, as things got moving, we needed to have an executive director and a board. And so Jay Lucas became the executive director. I became president of the board, and we went that way for over 30 years. This was a photo shoot sponsored, obviously, by Odlo. It became obvious pretty quickly that we couldn't get away with just snowmobiles anymore. People were beginning to talk about skating a little bit. Jack Barron had passed away. The Howes had purchased Sun Mountain Lodge. They wanted to do more with it, and we wanted to do more. So the Howes guaranteed a loan. They wouldn't just give us the money, but they guaranteed a loan, and we went to Farmers State Bank and borrowed $50,000 to buy our very first piston bullet, which was shared throughout the valley. The first time we ever had a tiller, a blade, I mean, all those things. It was amazing. But we had to make a major change. All the trails were this wide. So we had to make them bigger. This is actually on crisscross. But in those days, the hardest thing to do was to get an individual landowner to give us permission to cross the trail. And the easiest was Forest Service. And so when I did that, I actually walked in front of the bulldozer and I said to the driver, I said, just follow me. And I walked the trail as it should go. Never told the Forest Service. Never even asked. I just assumed that we had a permit for a cross-country ski area and therefore we should operate one. So a lot of those trails, that's what we did. We just built them.
What year was that?
Early 80s, maybe, somewhere in there, about when we got the first piston bullet. So yeah, those became our best friend, but usually we use the little one. And one thing we did realize right away is that we needed to be really careful about the ground. So we only did the work in the fall. This is, of course, what we're after. This is what you're all used to seeing out there. This is what we wanted in the summertime, especially in the fall, flat, smooth, so it doesn't take much snow, mowed all the time with big machines, not that little lawnmower that I had before. And this is what we wanted to have happen. This is Overland Trail, and by building that in the fall, all the natural vegetation came right back, so it would look like a single track trail every summer for other summer users. We didn't want to make a mess. We could help it. So while we're building new trails, we also have to name new trails. And at that time, I was on the PSIA National Nordic Demo Team, and we were sponsored by Descent, a Japanese clothing manufacturer. And every year it was like Christmas, just boxes of clothes would come. And that one particular year, the red unisuit like that was the uniform for the PSIA Nordic Demo Team. So I wore it, and free suit, why not? And that was also the days of Lycra, where everybody was wearing Lycra. It was getting wilder and wilder, crazy patterns. And I was getting real excited because I thought the next thing was going to be clear Lycra. Yeah. Anyway, so we just built Rodeo Trail for the very first time. It snowed, and enough snow that the piston boy could go out and groom a rodeo. And I thought, cool. I can't wait to see this new trail. And all of a sudden, over the radio, I get this message: hey, there's a cow on rodeo, wrecking the trail. You know, all the problems that we have with people walking on trails and snowmobiles, and then had a cow. So I thought, all right, I'm going to go just chase the cow off of there and then call Claude Miller to get her. So I grabbed my red suit, grab my skis, zoom down there, I'm skiing the trail. And I get close to the homestead, there it is. The cow, oh boy, I'll just get him. So I stand in front of it, I wave my poles, and I go, hey, hey, hey. Because I think most of you know in the summer, if you're riding your bike or running, you see cows, you do that, and they take off, right? This one put its head down, and went, oh, hit me right here. Broke both my skis and one of my poles. So I got up and I thought, well, I gotta get out of here before I become hypothermic. So I grabbed my broken stuff and I jogged down the trail. I said, what do? So I called Claude Miller. For those of you that know Claude Miller, he's a good old boy cowboy. I said, Claude, one of your cows is out back in my trail. He said, all right, I'll be up there with my horses. So Claude shows up with his horse and another guy, and they start riding, and I switch to skate skis so I can move faster. I said, well, I'll look at the cow over here, you look over there. And I finally see the cow standing in this little piece of sunlight trying to get warm, and I whistle and yell. Claude finally comes up on his horse, and I'm standing there with the skate skis. He says, there, Claude, see the cow right there? He kind of looks down at me and he goes, you city boys, you can't tell a bull from a cow. So we decided to name that trail Rodeo after my bull. So, as I said, in those days, the Forest Service was really easy to get permission to build trails. Private landowners weren't, because they didn't know what it was. And here, all of a sudden, people like John Hayes, John Sunderland, John Willett, and Joy Schwab started talking to these people to try and get a trail. So they map out in red what they think might work as a community trail to get from Louisiana to Winthrop. And of course, what really happened is, oops, that doesn't work, let's cross it out, and let's try another one, because they'd get someplace, and the landowner would say no. They had to back up, try different routes, start all over again. So the map kept getting crossed out, changed, crossed out, changed. And I think it's amazing that finally, after talking to all those people, we got the trail. Well, we had one obstacle, and that of course was the Methow River. For 2 seasons, maybe 3, we crossed the river right here with pallets. Yeah, we didn't ask anybody, we just took a bunch of pallets and rode to the river. Ran the